3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, we're finally done. Finally done here. Man. Anyways, hello everyone. How's everyone doing today? Let me switch screens. So, yeah, today's a big day because hey, Bob. We're going to be looking at MatPat's watch all of MatPat's final days from all across the channels. Hi, Pepper. Hi, Pepper. Yes, yes. No, go. As in leave. Oh, hold on. I need to pull the chat from the. I need to pull the chat up from There we go. All right. All right. Oh, I guess you can. Oh, one more thing. Guess we can go ahead and go ahead and let's do this. Watching all of MatPat's final theories right now. Here we go.
No more games. This is my final episode of Style Theory. So it's either win now or go home as a fashion failure. One final chance to take myself from novice to master. No limits, no budgets. And this time, it's live and in person. Are you ready?
Live and in person? Okay. MatPat's final style theory.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to my final Style Theory. In case you missed it, it's not a joke. This is my last episode as host of Style Theory. And I wanted to do something big for it. Something special for this last episode. You see, when I started this channel over a year ago, I knew that it was going to come down to this moment. I wanted to find out what the key to learning good style was. Because I believe that just like anyone can become a theorist, anyone can be a style icon. You just have to do the research, figure out the rules, the hacks, the data behind looking sharp. And when I don't know something, I track down someone who does, and then ask them to teach me. So in part one of our epic four-way stylist showdown, I turned to online stylists to see if the internet would once again hold all the answers. But alas, that road only led to disappointment and me looking like a generic K-pop wannabe. That means that this time, I'm not hiding behind the safety of my computer screen. I'm bringing the experts to me, live and in person, into my home and into my closet. It all started in a closet, and today, that's where it's gonna end. Stephanie and I are determined to find the secret ingredient to elevating our style. And as a surprise gift to all you loyal theorists that have come along on the style journey with us for the past year, at the end of the episode, I'm gonna have a super exciting announcement that you're not gonna wanna miss. It's gonna change the world of fashion on YouTube forever. Editors, set another timer. That was a bit more intense than I expected it to be, but sure, we'll roll with it. The pressure's on, theorists. We can't afford to waste any more time. The end is near. In our first round of this test, we pitted human against algorithm to take my and Stephanie's style to the next level. And didn't go quite as planned. I highly recommend you check out that episode before this one so you get the whole experience. But long story short, while we learned a lot through the process, we didn't get all the answers that we were looking for. While we got a few good items, we didn't learn how or why these clothes were meant to elevate our style. So this time, we're gonna turn up the pressure. No budget, no barriers, no backing out, no matter how out of our comfort zone these outfits might be. So this time we only have two things that we're judging. One, did they get our style? And two, can they teach us to be better at styling ourselves? Should be pretty darn simple, right? Well, we're about to find out. Let me introduce you to our stylist options for today, because theorists, they could not be any more different. On one end, we have Jamie, a part-time personal stylist who does this as her side hustle. Even though Jamie's been a close personal friend of ours for years, we actually had no idea that she did this, but apparently Jamie's wanted a chance to dress us up for as long as we've known her, so today she gets the chance. When she heard that we were doing a stylist episode, she jumped at the opportunity to throw her hat into the ring, and Steph and I jumped at the chance to learn whether or not a personal connection would be key to our experiment success. Since Jamie's known both of us for years, she's seen what we tend to wear on a day-to-day basis, so clearly she should have herself a pretty good leg up on our likes and dislikes, which presumably gives her an advantage, right? I guess we're about to find out.
I like us being inverses of each other.
Yeah, I know. I like that.
You're the yin and I'm the yang.
Yeah, exactly.
Jamie will cost us an initial fee of $150 per person for the initial consultation and lookbooks. Depending on how long the shoot goes, she also charges an additional $50 an hour, and we'll also need to purchase the clothing from the lookbooks to try on. On the other side of our style spectrum, we have our most expensive option in the entire series, a professional personal styling business from right here in Raleigh called Refined by Teresa. They pride themselves on their multi-tiered services and flexible scheduling, which, as a very overbooked guy, definitely appreciate. Taking a look at their in-person options, we went with their signature closet audit service, priced at $450 a person. Pretty hefty price tag, but it offered us something that no other service touted, the opportunity to learn. By coming in and going through our closet, they're hopefully able to teach us how to take our current personal styling to the next level. No shopping required. They aren't turning us into some new version of ourselves like we saw in the last episode. They're literally trying to take our existing clothes and give them a new, more fashionable life while figuring out what gaps exist in our wardrobe. If they're able to pull it off, well, that could be a game changer. But to reap the benefits of our two talented stylists, we first had to return to our personal purgatory, filling out the fashion surveys.
Woo! Okay,
Oh, boy.
last one. Oh my gosh, 500 hours later.
Okay.
Our first go at this took almost 2 full hours to get through, and by the end, we were over it. O-V-E-R, over it. So to save us all the trouble, let me just speedrun us through my and Stephanie's style. When it comes to Steph, there are 3 words that really encompass her looks: comfortable, quirky, and classic. When it comes to the shapes and silhouettes that Stephanie gravitates towards in her wardrobe, she definitely prefers to keep it classic. So our stylist should be steering clear of very asymmetrical or super revealing items.
Do you have any concerns regarding modesty?
Please, no nipples. Nips out. Please, no nips out. There we go.
Codpiece though, all in. Stay away from the nips, but codpiece. Oh yeah.
But while her silhouettes might be classic, where you do see Stephanie start to show off a wild side is with patterns. Stephanie loves a cute, bold pattern. Whether it's using color blocking or putting cute pasta shapes with faces onto a sweater, she is all in for that. And it needs to be comfortable, meaning no scratchy or stiff fabrics. If she can't take a cat nap in this thing, it is out. When it comes to some of her favorite pieces, sweaters, sweaters, and more sweaters. As long as they come in fun colors or with a nerdy design, you are a winner in her book. Lastly, as a petite gal, she's always on the lookout to find something that'll help elongate her legs. And then over here, you got me, the guy whose only fashion icon on these surveys is Ken from the Barbie movie. I love bright, bold colors. I appreciate the pieces that make it look like a rainbow just puked on your chest. I mean, for the past 10 or so years, this bright red jacket has become my go-to uniform. Speaking of, I love jackets. Outerwear in general. Honestly, the only thing I might like more than jackets is Diet Coke. I guess my family's in there too. Anyway, as I learned about myself in the last episode, I tend to lean towards structured items that give me a casual internet professional look. When I look at what I'm normally pulling out of the closet on a day-to-day basis, for ease and simplicity, I'm following a pretty regular formula. T-shirt, usually dark, maybe black, or with some fun pattern on it, with a bright structured jacket on top. Dark wash jeans, shoes. That's it. Even though I can very clearly articulate that very predictable formula, I did learn something while filming this episode that was a surprising fact about my wardrobe.
You want to know where I get my favorite shirts from? Museums. How weird is that?
Yeah.
But if you look at the most clothes that I have gotten over the last 2 years, it has been from like an art museum.
It turns out that while Stephanie and I had go-to items that we love, we didn't really have favorite brands or stores like your average consumer.
I think one of the problems is that we don't have go-to brands, actually. I think what we're discovering here is that we need go-to brands and we don't have them.
Hopefully our stylists can help solve that problem for us. As we went through filling out survey question after survey question, we noticed that this time things felt a bit different. Significantly more thoughtful than the quizzes that we took in round 1. With Jamie, we saw a lot more effort to get to know us personally, asking about our preferences for metals, do we usually go to a tailor, what influences the items that we're picking when getting dressed in the morning, even stuff about our aversions.
Oh, do you have any textile preferences or aversions?
Oh, that's smart. That's a really smart question.
Yeah.
And while Stephanie and I are certainly down to clown with any fabric, we did really appreciate that Jamie was looking out for her clients with questions like that. Once we got over to Teresa's questions, it was clear that she was here to do one job: teach.
I would like to learn more about the following: how to shop on my own,
I think that's a great one.
how to accessorize, how to use my clothing in multiple ways, how to elevate my look, what cuts are best for my body type and frame. I mean, I'd like to learn all of these things.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie about this. My hopes at this point were pretty darn high. Like the feeling I get when you take the time to subscribe to the channel. While it may be the end to my time hosting, it's not the end of the channel by a long shot. Style Theory ain't going anywhere, my friends, and to make sure that you never miss an upload, you should smash that subscribe button. That way you get notified every time a new video goes live. Like the one that we have coming up next week, it's gonna put Amy into a bit of a hairy situation. Can she wind up shaving the day? Well, it's all to answer a question that you've been asking us for months. So go ahead, subscribe, become a part of one of the fastest growing communities here on YouTube, and prepare for all the amazing adventures that Amy has coming up in the new generation of Style Theory. But for now, it's time to return back to my closet. And as the sun rose on day 1 of our try-on shoot, we were ready to be wowed by the professionals.
All right, so we are here with Teresa and Lauren, and you guys have been doing styling for how long?
Well, about 10 years now for me. Refined has been in business for 5, and Lauren joined me 2.5 years ago.
But they have a wealth of experience, certainly way more than we have, and we are so excited and a little bit nervous to have you guys here in our closet.
We'll be gentle, I promise.
I'm gonna hold you to that, Teresa.
So how do you go about bridging that gap from being strangers to like, hey, now you're my trusted fashion advisor?
Well, it depends on what service you're interested in. So today we're going to be doing a closet audit where we're focused mainly on what you already own. So with that, it's just getting to know someone's style, how they're wearing things now, their lifestyle, and how we can like take that to the next level, how we can elevate it and make it more interesting, more fashion forward, and make it make sense.
I'm super excited to sort of get another perspective and get a sense of someone else's outside observation of, you know, how we're doing and how we dress and what would, you know, maybe work better for us. Because I think that's something that everyone has a really hard time of getting an outsider's perspective of themselves. And it's so valuable because you get to see yourself in a whole new light.
Exactly.
Starting off right away, they really leaned into this learning process. And as we all know, I love learning. Teresa and Lauren really wanted to dig in and understand us so they could give us the best advice possible. And I was ready to bear it all. At least bear all my wardrobe. To make things easier, we actually lined up a bunch of our clothes that are usually stored in drawers or hangers behind the camera setup. So it's usually not this much of a mess in here. I promise. During the closet audit, Teresa and Lauren went through all of our items, removing anything they thought didn't serve us anymore. It could have been because of the fit, the color, the vibes. If they pull it, we donate it. Or at least that's the way they normally work, making sure that any lightly used clothing is going to those in need and not just being wasted in a landfill somewhere. And it's at this point, loyal theorists, that I need to take a moment to apologize. I've been hiding something from you this entire time. I've gone through a closet audit like this before, and it was not pretty.
So true story. I had a closet audit like this, but more so it was a closet intervention.
He was a resident assistant for freshmen. So the people he's RAing for are younger than he is, and they staged the intervention. There was one pair of shorts and 2 t-shirts left at the end.
I was gonna say,
that was it.
It was terrible, and it sucked. But I felt so much better and more confident on the other end about understanding my style and what was and wasn't working. When I'm walking around with a bunch of Reebok windbreakers that are 2 sizes too big, or pleated pants that look like I ripped them off of MC Hammer.
Not 1 pleat, like 8 pleats.
A lot of volume in the crotch area. My groin was ballooning all over the place. You know, teenage MatPat's like, wow, this is making me look great. And then literally everyone around me is like, wow, that guy looks like a weirdo. And one thing that over the last few days of filming, since we filled out the survey, we feel like we fit into this uncanny valley of style.
We feel a bit stuck in this middle space right now.
And that's kind of the beauty of like personal style is it can be unique to you. You don't have to follow trends. You can buy into the trends that you like. I find a lot that people who are constantly chasing the next new trend are always gonna look dated. When you look back at pictures, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? Because you were wearing everything that was popular at one time instead of really cultivating a complete wardrobe that really feels like you and things you really love.
Feeling a lot better about the purge that was about to occur, we were ready to dive in.
Let's kick off the closet audit. First impressions, I'd love to get your take.
I would say organization-wise, 10 out of 10.
Hey!
I really...
Our type A is coming through again.
Yes,
our
yes.
overachieving.
I appreciate the categorization. That makes it easy, not only for me, but for you.
Would you say like at a very foundational level, like
I didn't
even
really
if you do nothing else
on
with
stream.
your wardrobe, like categorize it?
Oh, for sure. We developed something
hold on.
called
Sorry,
the
let me
break down your wardrobe first by season, by occasion, by style, and then by color.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, a lot of times just removing everything you can't wear right now from what you're looking at every day just makes it so much easier. There's a lot less clutter to rifle through to find what you're looking for. Also separating by occasion, having like your work wardrobe here and your everyday wardrobe here, so you can kind of like zero in on things, and there can be some crossover, and that's totally fine.
They were speaking our language. Organization, categories, scientific methods. All we needed was a color-coded Excel sheet and we'd be in heaven.
Since I've been through this before and I've had that Band-Aid ripped off before, you can start with me.
We've heard that the t-shirt and the fun jacket's kind of like your go-to formula,
that's very easy for me. I actually change clothes probably 6 times a day because of the different amounts of filming that we're doing. A jacket and an easy t-shirt is very easy for me to swap between a lot of different outfits. That's kind of the comfort zone that I fit into.
So maybe today we can try to create 1 or 2 different formulas that are easy.
Oh, we're gonna be here for a
while.
while.
Some ways to style these things a little differently. For example, like this.
Yes.
Do you wear it often?
That is a souvenir item that I got from the Harajuku district in Japan. I love it, but yeah, when it comes to like actually wearing in a day-to-day setting, not so much.
So is this something you would want to wear more, or in your mind, is this more just like, I have it because it's a memory?
If I could figure out a way to wear it more often, that would be awesome.
Okay.
Because I love the color, I love the vibrancy, but I also know it's a very extreme piece.
Maybe there's something we can do today that will allow you to get more use out of.
Yeah, the spooky clown face pattern, we can make that work a little bit better. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, there is clown faces on here.
Yeah, something about the hot pink clown face jacket told me that I was probably gonna be Teresa's most interesting client. But hey, she's a pro. So if anyone can figure out how to find styles that coordinate with spooky clowns, it's gonna be her. Teresa really had a keen eye for finding new and interesting ways to mix and match our clothes that we already had. For example, I have a number of button-down shirts that I only wear for formal occasions like weddings, and tend not to wear them for anything other than that. But Teresa suggested that I take one of my sweaters and layer that on top for a brand new look, and it totally worked. I gotta say, I really appreciated how supportive our top-tier stylists here were. Rather than just being like, oh, you should get rid of this, or oh, that's ugly, Teresa made sure to ask us what we really liked about each and every piece. If we liked it and wanted to wear more, well, she would put it aside and figure out a way to work on it later. And when she did think that it was time for me to let an item go, she had a very gentle way of making it known.
So this.
Yes.
Do you wear it much?
I haven't in years.
Okay, good. Let's get rid of it.
Okay.
It's a little dated.
It's my safari shirt.
It's not super interesting, and I think that, and you'll hear me say this a lot, like, I think you're too cool for this shirt.
We ended up spending over an hour meticulously going through each and every item in my wardrobe. We found a couple of items that it was time to let go of, but we also picked out a couple of pieces that I really like, but never really found a good way of wearing. And Teresa was prepared to give us advice on how to wear them, but first we had to go through Steph's side of the closet.
What's your formula?
So for the months between September and like April, I'm a jeans and sweater gal. I'll have visual interest up here, and I'll tend to go pretty boring on the bottom. I love to incorporate fun shoes, but because I have a kid, because I'm walking around all the time, the really dainty high heel like part of my life, that's in the past.
The metallic pink platforms?
You don't wear those?
No, those are okay. So we went to the premiere of the Mario movie, and I went hardcore peach core. So it was all pink, and those were the shoes for that particular moment.
I already put together an outfit in my head. When we first got here, and we were kind of playing around with those shoes.
Ooh. Oh, I would love an excuse to wear those again.
Teresa being drawn to the pink platforms definitely gave her a couple of points in my book. She wasn't afraid of some of the wild and crazy options that existed in our closet. In fact, she was trying her best to lean into them. Why? Because she could tell that those were the items that Stephanie and I really enjoyed. I could see the gears working in her mind as she tried to find ways to make these difficult items into new fashionable attire. And that definitely included ditching things that didn't quite suit our current era.
So this was Stephanie when she worked a desk job. At the time that I bought this was an investment piece for me. This is Banana Republic. This is not a $20 shirt. This was like, whoa, a $35 shirt. I still, in my brain, view it as this really nice piece I have, even though looking at it now, I'd be like, I would never pick this up off the rack. Same with this piece. I haven't worn it in a while. I put it on when we went through our wardrobe, and I was like, this still looks okay. I was like, it's not covered in cat hair or pills, so can't I just keep wearing it?
You know that the baseline is pretty low when it's, is it covered in cat hair or pills? Also, just for the sake of everyone at home, when we say covered in pills, we're not talking about like medication.
No, like the little linty pills.
Teresa and Lauren took us through each of Stephanie's pieces, saw what worked, what we wanted to elevate, and what could get the axe. Even helped us find a lot of gaps in our wardrobe.
Do you have a turtleneck? There were a few things where I was like, if she had a black turtleneck.
I don't have a black turtleneck. We can identify a gap. Yes.
She's learning.
But one thing I know we'll never succeed in getting Stephanie to do, remove a price tag.
Why are the tags still on
Because
this?
you don't take the tags off your clothes.
Between the two of us, we filled up an entire clothing rack of pieces that we loved but needed help learning to style properly. So Teresa and Lauren combined their fashion powers to give our old clothes new life. And I, for one, was excited to see what they had in store.
Okay, I'm standing in the hot seat, and I gotta say, I love this. This is so good. And again, it's all stuff that I already had in my closet and didn't use. Like these corduroys, I haven't worn them since I bought them. This shirt, I've only reserved for formal events with the family that are too boring for my other fun shirts. It brings such fresh life to these pieces that I had no idea what to do with.
It's like getting new clothes without getting new clothes.
It also
Great.
feels significantly less wasteful.
And that right there, that was a big win. With nearly 11.3 million tons of textile waste ending up in landfills each year in America, learning to reuse and give new life to clothing that you already have not only helps you save money, it can also have a large-scale impact on the environment. Don't you love it when everything comes together?
So this is me in my first outfit. This is the a casual look. Again, same as Matthew. This is taking stuff that was underutilized in my wardrobe or never even got seen and putting it together in a way that feels super comfortable. I do like these shoes, but I never would wear them with a pant like this. I've never worn this open like a cool Miami grandpa. I love this.
I was gonna say, I have not seen you looking this relaxed. Even in your relaxed clothing,
I know.
you're not this relaxed. It embodies your sense of style and your personality, but in something that feels easy, but still looks put together.
The outfit was given Palm Beach Barbie,
Nice.
though I was still looking for my Kenspiration to show up in this outfit. Maybe we'd have a bit more luck in the next one.
All right, outfit 2. This one, a lot more extreme. And I like how this has come together. You're mixing a really extreme pattern with another really extreme pattern, and I'm curious how you did that. I worry that if I were to try to recreate something like this or do something similar, that it would become like super messy and cluttered and confusing.
There are some kind of guidelines you can think about. So a really easy way to start mixing patterns is to just stick with patterns with the same colors. If anything has just like 2 or 3 colors, finding another pattern that has at least 1 or 2 of those colors represented will help. And then you want some diversity in the size of your pattern. So a smaller pattern with a larger pattern. So here your shirt has a little bit of smaller, more busy pattern, whereas this is like a huge graphic.
Even though we all agreed that the outfit wasn't perfect, the lesson still stood. I've always liked bright colors and patterns, but whenever I tried to mix them before, it ended up less maximalist and more just maximum eyesore. But Teresa was able to set me up with a formula that I could follow, kind of like the Pythagoras of personal styling. Next outfit.
Ta-da! Here's outfit number 2. Again, very unexpected. I feel like we've both taken a step into the louder end of the spectrum, putting together this vest, which I love, tucking it in, which is something I never would have thought of, but gives it a whole other level of structure, pairing it with a polka dot here and a polka dot here. Not something I ever would have done, and I look at myself and I'm like, oh, this is so fun. I'm really enjoying this. I like looking at myself in the mirror. I make myself smile. This is a big win for me.
And because we were all having so much fun playing dress up, Teresa and Lauren actually threw in a bonus outfit for both of us free of charge.
This is it. This is awesome. I love this. I love this outfit. I think it's so cool. It is so fun. I feel so fresh and hip and alive. I've had these pants in my drawer for a long time, but I don't know what to do with brown pants. You have allowed me to find a jacket and an outfit and a complete ensemble here that uses them and makes me feel cool wearing them.
Matthew wears brown!
Matthew wears brown!
Matthew wears brown.
Getting me to enjoy wearing a neutral, a khaki, was actual witchcraft. Steph was also feeling the magic.
I was told that no arms needed in this one. It's more of a cape situation.
Exactly.
This is a really easy outfit for me to wear. These are jeans that I've had and I love and I wear all the time. Same goes with the shirt. I really like this one. This is one I've had for a while and that I also really enjoy, but don't always know the right thing to pair with. And then I've gotten to break out shoes that I haven't worn in years. I love these shoes and I just haven't had a moment where I thought that they looked sophisticated enough, but actually, together, I think this all looks really nice.
Sure, they had the advantage of using our own existing clothing, but each look gave new life to pieces that had been sitting around for years, waiting to be worn. Not only did they give us the building blocks to do this by ourselves, they were able to give us clear, concise reasons for each outfit they were making, each item that they were removing, and even taking some of our most wild pieces and turning them into something that felt more wearable. In total, we spent $900 for the 2 closet audits, and $0 on new clothing items. Though Teresa did provide us with a post-mortem on what items she would recommend we get to fill in the gaps in our wardrobe. All in all, it was a big win for both of us, which meant it was time for our final option. We were turning to someone we knew, someone we trusted, someone who had seen us on our good days and our not-so-good days, to see if that personal connection with us could unlock the final piece of this entire puzzle, the piece that we were still missing, pushing us out of our comfort zone just enough to elevate our style to the next level.
Today we're joined by Jamie Daniels, who is a longtime friend of ours.
We've known Jamie for about 4 years.
What's especially cool is that we didn't know that this side of Jamie existed until just recently. It only came to our attention mention that you've been doing this for what now? 3 years?
3 years now.
Wow.
Yes.
So what got you into it?
My love of fashion started with my mom. My mom was a businesswoman. She worked for a Fortune 500 company, and so she always wore dresses, pantsuits, skirt suits, heels every single day.
She's a stylish lady.
She is. She's so stylish. I always wanted to emulate her style. I was encouraged in college to go into a career in either medicine or the allied health profession, so I kind of did that, but I always missed fashion. So I started creating these OOTDs, and then people started giving me compliments. My family just encouraged me to do this as a side business, and so I've been doing it for the past 3 years. I just love fashion so much, and I like helping other people find their fashion too.
Over the previous week, Jamie had taken our survey answers and designed each of us a custom lookbook. In it, she provided both of us a set of casual, professional, and formal options.
So first, here's just my little notebook. As soon as Stephanie brought this opportunity to me, I immediately went home and I scribbled down so many different things, like designers that I thought would really work for Stephanie, coquettish, girly, with fun quirks, different type of accessories that Stephanie would have.
Immediately, we could tell the amount of thought and planning that went into Stephanie's lookbook. Unlike what happened with the Fiverr stylist, Jamie wasn't just trying to get Stephanie to fit a mold of pre-selected items, she was trying to fit the items to Stephanie. As for me, well,
I'm a blank
Wait, is
page.
it just that?
Yes, bright colors and leathers.
what can I say? I'm a simple man, I have simple, vibrant tastes. And then she said something
Okay.
unexpected.
I want to go back to Ken. There's so many different Kens. So I went back and watched the movie just because of you. It wasn't a bad reference at all because there's so many different Kens. There's beach Ken, there's formal wedding Ken, villain Ken,
Okay.
Ken in leather, mermaid Ken. I tried to find a tail for you. It would not come in time. I was really excited about
And
it.
that would have been great.
Yet even with no mermaid look, Jamie did it. She gave me the Kenergy that I was looking for. At long last, someone understood the
The
assignment.
Kenergy.
But before I could truly celebrate, we needed to go through the lookbook.
Okay, so take us through the lookbook.
When I think of you, I also thought of Back to the Future for some reason.
It is one of my favorite movies of all
I
time.
actually think that's so on point. Like, it's nerdy and sciencey, sure, but it's also whimsical and like kind of tongue-in-cheek, which I think embodies a lot of your vibe.
As we started to scroll,
All right.
I think our reaction says it all.
Ooh.
And she was setting up some baby steps to ease us out of our comfort zone.
So is this jacket also for me?
Yes, it is. I thought it would be a great way to kind of get you away from leather.
That's fair.
Speaking of jackets, it turns out that Stephanie has been the true jacket influencer this entire time.
I already knew you also had a very structured jean jacket
Yes,
in your wardrobe.
I love it.
Everyone should always
I've had it
use.
for years.
I bought one just because you had one.
Look at you, style influencer Stephanie.
That's never happened before.
As we browsed through the rest of Jamie's lookbook selections, we were happy to see a wide variety of interesting and quirky options that we were excited to try on. Once again, Amy and Ash teamed up to shop for 2 outfits each for us to try on, picking items that they felt best showcased what Jamie had to offer while still pushing us out of our comfort zones. Starting with something that would truly make Ken proud, a pair of pinkish pants. Kind of more red, I guess.
All right, so casual outfit number 1. I gotta say, I like this one. I like this one a lot.
I think you look great.
This is really cool. Across the board, I love the playfulness of the shirt. I think the color is great. I think the contrast is nice. It's fun without being too loud and in your face. I like structure. That was the one thing that I hit over and over again on all the different surveys. I like things that are polished and structured. The white shirt does that, but the layer on top shows that, hey, I can also be relaxed and fun.
Structured but not stuffy.
Yep, that's exactly it, Steph. It only took us 2 giant episodes and me leaving the channel to finally figure out how to describe my style. Structured, but not stuffy. Perfect. Someone make me a Pinterest board to commemorate it. And Steph, at this point, was bursting at the seams waiting for her turn.
Steph, go for it.
Ta-da!
I love this cardigan on you so much.
I love everything about the top half of this, for sure. I'm in love with this sweater. This is like the new staple of my wardrobe now. It's so comfortable, it's oversized. I really like this skirt. Where I struggle a little bit is with the shoes. That's the only thing.
But I
Pieces-
completely agree with you though. Now that I'm seeing it like all together, I think I would pair it maybe with your loafers or some
Ooh.
booties. I think that would be a much better fit.
But I think that this is overall so fun. I love the slouchy look with the skirt. All I think I need here is maybe a slight adjustment in the shoe, and I think we're there.
And with 2 wins solidly under our belt, we were ready to take this party from day to night with our formal options.
I gotta say, I love this. I am so floored by everything that I'm wearing right now. I wish that we were hosting the Streamy Awards again this year, so that way I could bust this out. This is everything that I want a formal wear suit to look at.
I don't think I can properly express on camera how much I love this suit. Jamie knocked it out of the park. We all collectively agreed that the butterfly bow tie was a bit much, but once we took it off, it opened everything up on the suit. It was a complete win across the board. The fit was flattering, the shoes helped tone down the busy floral pattern, the lightweight cotton material meant that I wouldn't be sweating button up a storm. It even came with one of my favorite things of all time, lore.
I also want to just call out immediately, as I was getting dressed in with some of the tags, the marriage might fail you, but this suit won't. That's dark, man.
There was even a tag on the pants that said till death, but I didn't have time to solve the mystery because Steph was ready to strut her stuff.
I also love this. I think you and I partner very well. This is incredible.
This little thing? So taking this off the rack, I would say extremely unexpected for me personally. Not something that I would ever pick up in the store. I love this color. I love a sleeve with some volume. I ended up thinking that this was really flattering. Like, I never look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, wow, you just have legs for days, girl. And look, legs for days. I think this is so fun.
And that was the word that we kept coming back to time and time again here. Fun. Jamie spoke to the part of us that just liked to play with wild patterns and bright, vibrant colors, which was exactly what we asked for from the very beginning. And her familiarity with our normal styles meant that she could easily look at an item and know if it would flatter us. I think that this gives strong supporting evidence for the fact that if you have someone in your life that you trust and whose style you admire, ask them for advice. Get them to pick out a couple of items that they think might look good on you. As your friend, they want you to look good, and they can guide you along the path to testing out a style. So while she did end up being the most expensive option of the entire experiment, ringing in at a whopping $1,429, though to be fair, she did buy an entire suit, multiple pairs of shoes, a giant party dress, and a ton of accessories, I couldn't deny that Steph and I loved the way that we looked. We finally felt pushed outside of the box that we'd been trapped in for years. It was our style, but a new evolution to our style, something that was slightly elevated from where we were before.
When you actually think about it, Steph and I fall into this weird middle area where, we're parents, and as a result, there are certain expectations with being close to 40. But we do not dress like close to 40-year-olds. And that doesn't really reflect our style. I think a lot of the stuff that we were trying on with Stitch Fix was probably closer to where people our age are expected to dress.
Well, I just think that people in their 30s in general are expected to be in the middle of their career. So they're expected to likely be going into an office. They're expected to probably be either parents or thinking about becoming parents. So they're thinking about like buttoned up school events, more like functional clothes where you can work with your kids, less stuff that's going to be fragile or delicate or require a lot of maintenance. And so you end up with these silhouettes and these outfits that are not too fun. There's literally like the dad uniform and the mom uniform, and if you're falling outside of that, you stand out at like school events, you stand out in places like kids' birthday parties. We also just stand out in the general public of people who are usually going into an office for a job, where we debate each morning if we're gonna walk down to the office wearing shoes or not. So we fall outside of a lot of the expectations, and we don't want to dress to the expectations that everyone around us.
We're not just falling out from like people in our age range and our life stage in a lot of cases, but also in our industry. Our industry, this digital video world that we exist in, it is the era of TikTok and young teenagers and early 20-somethings, and we're not them. And so if we try to dress in the like most fashionable, trendy things that are circulating right now, it doesn't work for us because that's just not who we are.
That's just not interesting to us. I think we want to have a nice balance of like being fun and also thinking about pieces that are lasting. It's a tricky balance to strike.
Taking into account our experience in the first episode with Fiverr and Stitch Fix versus our two stylists today, there is one thing that is abundantly clear. Personal interaction, that one-on-one consultation time, it is the key to getting the most out of any styling service. While Jamie and Teresa were certainly on the pricier side of the spectrum up front, long-term, we're talking about a different story. By teaching you and setting you up with the skills and confidence that you need to approach your clothing in a new way, they are saving you money in the long term. Because with Stitch Fix and Fiverr, you have to keep going back to them for more and more options, spending more and more money on service fees, and clothes that, let's face it, are statistically less likely to fit your style. Then you're stuck with a pile of textiles just rotting away in your closet that you're not going to be using all that often, and now you're out a significant amount of money on top of it. It is a lose-lose across the board. So in the end, who really wins? It was me and Steph, because we've been able to go on this journey together. And I'm not just talking about the stylists. As my time on this channel comes to an end, as this timer finally ticks down to 0, I can't help looking back on the crazy idea that we had so many years ago.
Our feet shoes? But hey, that's just a theory.
A style theory.
Stay beautiful.
Stay beautiful.
Oh, that's such a good catchphrase.
Oh, wow.
Back then, I had no idea what this channel would look like. What wild adventures we'd go on here. Over the course of this past year, I've gotten to test edible underwear, open your eyes to the crimes of some of the biggest sellers in the space, even permanently tattoo a checkerboard pattern onto my skin. I'm legitimately concerned that it is a permanent permanent tattoo. That'll be a weird souvenir to take away from this channel. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. More than any of the other channels, Style Theories brought the team together in ways none of us ever expected. When you take mud baths and showers together and then film it all for content, yeah, that'll do it. It's not every day that you hear your analytics guy singing in the shower.
Take me out to the ball game.
But that journey's also been helpful for all of us in different ways. Ash's wardrobe, for instance, completely changed thanks to the Color for Skin Tone episode, and they look and feel great about those changes. 5 members of the team literally threw away their old makeup thanks to the Poison Makeup episode. I will never forget my sunscreen ever again, and I think we all pay a bit more attention to our flossing habits thanks to that toothbrush episode. And you know what? I'm so excited for what's to come. I may not be voicing the next generation of episodes, but I'm gonna be watching along in the background. Just like you guys, I'm gonna be there in the audience, learning and growing in my own personal style journey. Once a theorist, always a theorist. And honestly, this isn't gonna be the last time that you see me either. I told you at the start of the episode that I had a huge announcement, and no, I'm not rescinding my retirement or anything like that, but the team and I have actually been working on a huge project, a huge event, Creators in Fashion. This is gonna be a never-before-seen type of event happening here on YouTube. We're bringing the glamour of Fashion Week and runway shows to you, and we're not doing it alone. We're gonna be joined by tons of your favorite creators, both on and off the runway, as we turn the spotlight on all the hard work that creators have been doing. They're designing apparel, they're building businesses and brands on par with some of the biggest names that you see in Vogue or walking in Fashion Week. And we want to give them all a moment to shine here live on the channel, on Style Theory.
Cool.
In just
That's
over a
cool.
month, on
That's
April
really cool.
25th, we're going to be doing the biggest thing to hit fashion in a long time. We're going to be live streaming the first ever Creators in Fashion event live, right here on Style Theory, and you're going to be a part of it. You know who else is going to be a part of it? Me,
Sure.
because I'm going to be returning to help host the show alongside Amy, as well as a couple other surprise appearances. So mark it on your
Nice.
calendars, my friends. April 25th, 2024. Creators in Fashion happening right here on Style Theory. So while I might be saying goodbye today, and I won't be hanging out with you here every week, I'm not gone forever. But I am confident that I'm leaving this channel in good hands. Amy has been here since the beginning. She loves this channel just as much as I do. I highly recommend that you get to know a little bit more about your new host thanks to the playlist that we put on the top shelf of the channel page to celebrate and surprise Amy. Even on my way out, I got a couple surprises up my sleeve. So good luck, Amy, and to all of you loyal Style Theorists, I'll see you back here on April 25th. And so for one final time, I say to you, that's just a theory. A style theory. Keep looking sharp. Remember, beauty is a science. I didn't use that one enough. Should have used it a little bit more.
Whew. Alright, I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna be right back because I need to because my dog is wants a battery, so yeah. Okay. Alright, I'm back. I am back. Move on to the next video, which is...
So, this is it. It's the final episode of Food Theory, my friends. I'm sad, you know, because this has been a channel that's been really personal for me. Steph and I cooking in the kitchen for the last 4 years. There were so many awesome memes like stuff the cream in me and eating a Christmas tree and hot sauce. I can't believe it. I know, Santi, I know, it's sad. I'm sad to be leaving. I'm excited for you, but it's a bittersweet moment, you know?
Wait, what? No, man. No. I'm pumped that you're leaving. I get to be host of Food Theory.
Yeah, that's
No, I just can't believe that you're gonna be gone, and I'm never gonna redeem myself for that stupid cake. Flom, nightmares, forever.
Wait, so hold on. It's my final episode, and you're just focused on your prime cake episode?
Yeah.
Prime cake?
I mean, if it means
I never watched that one, so...
Make me a goodbye cake.
I can.
Sure, I guess.
I can have a redemption arc?
I mean, it is my final episode, but yeah, I guess you can make it
Yeah, whatever, that's
you.
fine. Wait right here. I got an idea.
All right. Oh God, what have I done?
No idea,
I
man.
regret this.
Nah, it'll be fine.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Food Theory, where it's time for my just desserts. You know, when it comes to the 4 channels, Food Theory has always held a special place in my heart. Game Theory was the first, it's seen everything. Style Theory has always been about the team, it's also the baby of the group. And Film Theory, it's Film Theory. I'm joking, obviously, but that is kind of the running meme about it. But Food Theory, it's always been a bit more personal, you know? It was born in the middle of COVID. It's the first that really required me to be on camera. It's the one that allowed me to connect with Steph in a completely different way, while also playing off my own personal fears and insecurities in the kitchen and with food. It's the one where I got to be wackier and a bit more unhinged from the usual format, and food, just by its nature, is more personal. I mean, for proof of that, all you gotta do is go check out the family recipe episode from 2 weeks ago, which is one of my all-time favorite episodes that we've ever done across any of the channels. By the way, on that note, thank you for all your comments on that video. It's been heartwarming to read all those stories. If there's ever been proof that the comments can still be a place that's positive and uplifting, that one video right there, that is it. I've spent so much time down there just scrolling and reading with a smile on my face. It's been really beautiful, so thank you. Thank you for sharing. Anyway, back to the point. Knowing how special of a channel this has been, what better way to close out my time and transition over to the new host Santi than an episode dedicated to both of us? A celebratory cake for me, a redemption cake for him. You see, Santi's had a bit of a prime-sized chip on his shoulder from his last go-around trying to bake on this channel.
Santi, can you show the camera kind of what's happening in this school?
No.
I think it would be really fun and exciting if you did.
You know what? I hate you all.
So, it only felt right to give him a second chance at the validation that he's been wanting so badly.
I'm ready, Matt.
Sure you are, Santi. So that, my friends, is the challenge today. For Santi to make a finale cake. A cake that takes the best elements from the past 4 years of episodes and merges them together into one perfect bite. The ultimate food theory cake that embodies everything that this channel stands for. Well, everything except for the split icing.
Ha, ha. Very funny.
Hey, I just wanted to make sure I clarified. Make sure we're all working on the same page here. So, how you plan on delivering us this one perfect bite, Santi?
Well, I figured I'd bring in a couple of members of Team Theorist, ask them for their favorite episode, and then use those as the key ingredients for this cake.
If I may borrow a phrase from John Cena, are you sure about that?
What do you mean?
I'm just saying, they're not gonna make it easy on you. In fact, I'd expect them to outright troll.
Yes, hi, hello, it is I, head editor Dan.
I love that you always feel the need to clarify that.
You guys keep putting it in the script. I'm just reading the lines, Matt.
So, what's your favorite episode of Food Theory?
Well, that's easy. It has to be the Mountain Dew pizza episode.
Rarely has there been a pizza that has
Oh my
actively made you
goodness.
want to brush your teeth after consuming it.
This is going to be really healthy. You're going to want to add this to all of your hot summer body diet.
Is that because it was one of the first ridiculous cooking episodes?
No.
Was it because that episode has the highest volume of puns per minute?
It most definitely was not.
Oh, I know it wasn't because of the camera work. That whole episode looked like we rubbed Vaseline over the lens.
If you must know, it's because that was the first episode I got to voice. And it gave me the chance to shade you in post the entire time.
Wait, who are you? This is my show.
It's me, head editor Dan. You hired me. He then added some food coloring to really give it that green pop it deserves, is what he wants me to say. But I know the truth. I see all the footage, Matt, and I know what really happened.
Oh my
He
gosh.
forgot to mix in the gel food coloring, and they had to scramble to try to put it back in. Here's the before, here's the after. Look, we're good editors, but we can't fix every mistake. Also, never say fix it in post, or I will come
directly for you.
Oh my gosh, you are so right. Yeah, I actually think that might have been the first episode that anyone outside of me got to voice. Must have just blocked that one out of my mind. Or maybe I was just delirious. Again, I was very sick for that episode. I mean, in total, I think there's been like, what, 4 episodes across the 2,000 videos we've done? No pressure there, Santi.
You do realize Mountain Dew is a terrible cake ingredient.
Yes, I do. Good luck.
As I was saying before,
are they all gonna be like this?
No, not all of them, just most. Next up, it's Kai, our new social media manager.
Kai, what's your favorite episode of Food Theory?
My favorite would probably have to be the Christmas tree episodes.
You've got to be kidding me.
Welcome to the job, bucko. I just said you had to make a cake. I didn't say that you also had to let other people choose the ingredients for you. You did that one for yourself. I'm sorry, Kai. Please continue.
Thanks. Overall, it was just a solid narrative arc. Watching the evolution from the first year with you and stuff, just munching on the bark.
Yep, it's tree. It's me eating a tree.
My saliva is just getting sucked right into this stuff.
It smells like Christmas. Oh, it's so good. It's all so delicious.
To watching you make cookies out of them and pranking staff.
It's literal sawdust.
I mean, it's what? How much sawdust is in here?
30% by weight.
And then finally getting to something that was actually edible and getting to be a part of that was nice.
You know, it's not that bad.
Wow.
We're eating pine.
You do realize who created those recipes, right? It was me.
Cool. Well, bye.
Thanks, Kai. Next up, Amy. Amy, what's your favorite episode of Food Theory? Santi's gathering ingredients for a grand finale cake.
Favorite episode? I think it has to be Panera Bread Gloves because it brings together my 2 favorite things in the world, fashion and carbs. Honestly, I love them both so much. They're perfect together and they're perfect for this episode.
Bread? Bread is perfect for the cake episode?
Yes, it is bread, it is cakes. They're the same kind of thing. One just has fashion sense.
Is it too late to quit?
Yes, it is. Thanks, Amy. Hey, Ash.
Hey.
What's your favorite episode of Food Theory and why?
Ooh, okay. My favorite episode is actually kind of a personal one to me. I really like the Oreo episode.
Oh, thank goodness. Finally, a normal cake ingredient.
Is he okay?
Yeah, he's fine. You know how our episodes are designed to teach people stuff?
Yeah?
Well, Santi's learning a lot today. Tell me about Oreos.
All right then. Well, one, I was just really proud of the work I did in putting that whole shoot together. But also, man, did it serve some absolutely incredible memes.
Like, oh, look at that thick layer.
Oh, here we go.
I want that thickness inside my body. Nope. Don't say that. I should not have said that. It's hot. I'll give it that. Oh yeah, you can see it melting. My poor fingies. It's hot on my fingies.
Set it on a plate.
Set it on the plate, they say. Don't burn your fingies, they say. Just blew it off, Jason. I know my saliva is heavy. I've got the heaviest saliva in the business. Sorry.
My good dude, you were so questionable.
Continuing around the office, Lee gave us the Diet Coke taste test because he's also addicted to that sweet, sweet nectar. Josiah gave us Prime Exposed, and Tom added the TikTok favorite, pink sauce.
I hate you, Tom.
Okay, it could have been a lot worse. Just feel lucky no one said the Kentucky Fried Chicken episode or the Cabbage Soup episode. But what about you, Santi? I'm curious. What's your favorite? You're the one taking over the channel after all.
I mean, I'm not doing myself any favors with this one, but it's actually the fries episode. Never order McDonald's medium fries, I think is the official title. It was one of the first on the channel.
Actually, it was the first.
I just like the science of it all and thought it did a good job of showing what this channel's all about, you know? In general, the fry episodes tend to be really fun. Sprite and fries, another personal favorite.
So you've got yourself Mountain Dew, Diet Coke, bread, spruce, Oreos, pink sauce, and French fries. That enough ingredient inspiration for you?
I feel like I should quit while I'm behind.
You think you could find a way to fit it all into a cake?
I have some ideas.
Well, with everyone's favorite episodes compiled, it's time for me and Steph to head to the kitchen one final time. At least one final time on camera for content. It's not like I'm never gonna eat again. We were there to see how Santi might try to fit all of this into something even slightly resembling a cake. And as it so often does, things immediately got off the rails.
You define for Steph and I, who are not in the bro community.
We're not bro dudes, as it were. So can you explain the dap?
Yeah, if I were to get dapped up, what would I do?
For context, Santi had called Justin to get dapped up, and we were intellectually curious about what this mating technique was. Like researchers observing gorillas out in the wild.
It's in the hand motion.
You look like you're doing a little Edelweiss.
Yes, if you're a bro, you're too cool for a handshake, right? Handshake, you go in firm, up, down, release. That's how you do it.
That is the hope, yeah.
Yes, there.
Maybe a couple, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to try something with the microwave
Dap it.
settings.
Dap it.
I get very intimidated by hand-to-hand interactions that are not that. I don't read people all that well, and so I can't just like flow with it.
You have to remember, cool peaks in high school, right? So you have to think about it like you're the kid in the back of the class.
Not.
You're not trying hard. You don't want to like go in with a lot of emphasis or anything. You just want to go, just cup it. Yeah. You want to get the clap, and you could do that.
Are we doing the bro?
But you could just do that, and like you just have to be relaxed with it. Like you wanna get a good clap.
Okay.
Nope. See? Nope. You're gonna go from here, and we're gonna clap like that.
Okay.
And then just that. That's it.
Okay.
All right. Ready? So just relax. You exploded it, but that was a good clap.
I really try to avoid physical contact with young children entirely.
I do too.
That's not really what I'm going in for,
But
Santi.
if you're driving around and a kid just kicks a sweet nolly tray, you're like, hey, dap him up.
I honestly can't tell if he's being ironic or not. Is this a bit? I don't get it. Regardless, we were all set with the ingredients. It was time to get cooking, but not before one final sick burn from Steph.
We're gonna take all of that and mash it into a monstrosity that we will call a cake.
You've called a lot of things cake in the past.
Right? And you called even more things calzone, and none of them were right.
You know what? You're lucky I didn't put ricotta in this cake. I was this close to doing it.
It would have made it closer to a calzone than anything you've made before.
Oh, she got you there.
Yeah, actually.
That was a good burn. Yeah, Steph, hit me up with that dap, girl.
Oh, yeah.
Hit me up with that girl. You gotta practice the handshake.
Oh, yeah.
Got it.
See, now this episode's never gonna see the light of day.
So how did Santi expect to work all of these insane ingredients into one tasty, or if not tasty, at least edible bite? Well, Mountain Dew and Diet Coke were set to be the sponge layers. Santi insisted on another round of trying to make frosting out of prime, and then there were the croutons.
Amy's favorite episode was the bread gloves. So we're gonna take the croutons and we're gonna pulverize them into a little bit of a dust.
Man, nothing says delicious cake quite like salad croutons.
It's actually really interesting because you have the airiness of the cake. You know what? You'll see. You will see. You'll all see.
I love it when a cake is described as interesting.
From the guy who also says that he doesn't like cake.
All right, Dapper, what do we got going on?
I'm gonna have you both pour in the respective fluids, and we're gonna pour them into the cake molds.
It's pillowy and cloud-like, actually. It's very fluffy, got lots of air in there.
It's so fluffy.
So the science behind this is actually really cool. Instead of baking soda and baking powder, our leavening agents are the sodas. In using the sodas, the carbon dioxide that's released creates those similar air bubbles and causes the cake to rise. Plus, we get to incorporate the flavors of the Mountain Dew and the Diet Coke. It's honestly all super cool.
With the sponges in the oven, Santi encouraged us to get some of our aggression out on the croutons.
Oh my god!
What can I say? Between FNAF lore and hot wings, I guess I have some pent-up rage from 13 years on YouTube.
I meant like take the bag and smash it. Oh, that was manly. I like that.
Yeah,
you were like, I don't care. Yeah, there you go.
Dap it, bro. Yeah,
what is this last part? There you go. Oh. Because, yeah, you're like, wow, you are wildly efficient.
I am very pro therapy. I am also very pro punching croutons really hard. With the croutons all mashed and the Fredbear trauma all processed, it was on to the prime frosting.
It's like strawberry ice cream.
I was gonna say, it does look like strawberry ice cream.
Oh, very much so.
How's it taste? Very thick.
So sweet.
Ooh, very sweet. Ooh, very sweet on the front end, very sour on the back end.
Yeah.
Very interesting
This is
ride.
gonna go very well with something else.
Huh. Interesting. I am so optimistic about how this is gonna go.
Let's go! See! Anyway, that was my own private moment.
At this point, Steph and I were dismissed from the kitchen so Santi could surprise us with the final reveal. A few hours later, it was time.
See what it
How
looks
would you
like.
like this to be? Is there a drum roll? Should I lift? Like,
I'll
how
lift
did you
it
envision
for
this?
you.
Was this
I'll
like
lift
a
it for
small?
you.
Was this like a small laundry basket? Also?
Where did this thing come from? No cloche, no nothing. Just...
It's for my undergarments, but
you know, hold up.
It's his boxer basket.
Here.
Literally on our cake.
Hold up. I'm gonna save you on this one. Okay.
Yes.
This is the last time I can do this for you too.
Okay.
He chose this in commemoration of us cooking in a dryer episode.
Santi, that was brilliant.
Wow, Santi.
Way
Yes.
to go.
I'm
Dap
so
up
glad
for
you
that
worked that
one.
in
there we go.
There's no dap up here.
Oh, dap.
We
Oh,
forgot
God,
in the
no.
course of
Dap
what
it
is
up.
definitely the same day how to dap up.
Yeah, here, dap it, bro.
Why do you hit my wrist? Like, you miss my hand every time.
That's how you dap.
That was better. We couldn't get a smoke machine, so sorry for the lack of presentation there. But, so,
Boop. Whoa.
That's awesome, actually. This is really pretty.
Okay, so what happened here? What had happened was.
It's French
It's
fries.
a French
Yes.
fries.
It's fries.
If you look at it from above, which we have that shot, it is the food theory ring.
That's the food theory. That's
Yes,
the quadrant.
that's
quadrant.
I
So,
get it.
so that was supposed to be that.
It was a random
Smart.
yellow blob. I thought it was like someone peed on the cake.
Well, there goes my art.
I'm like, we've done a lot of weird episodes, Santi, but we haven't done like, can I drink my own urine? That's more of a Good Mythical Morning style episode.
Well, I mean, we were talking about tears, and I was thinking bodily fluids. No, this
Oh,
Easy
gosh.
to confuse what comes out of your eyes with what comes out of other parts of your
both
body.
salty, I guess. I don't know. So
The yellow pea stain notwithstanding, we were a far cry
Oh,
from cream
gosh.
cake. Even down to these cute little crinkle cut cake fries on top. Such a cool detail. So with everything ready, it was finally time for my last chance to stab something on the show.
Ready? Can I stab the cake? Oh, that was satisfying. That was good. Ooh, sliced right down the middle of that
down in
Oreo.
the middle of an Oreo.
Right through that double stuff.
So what we should see here, hopefully, is a nice.
Is that you that I just heard swallow really hard?
It's like Santi in one moment just went through the entirety of puberty. What we should see here, hopefully.
It's the 5 stages of grief that you're hearing there.
This is my opportunity to do it. Ooh, that looks so
Wow,
good!
okay. I'll ask you
If any
this.
regular person were to see this, they would probably say, wow, what a delicious pistachio and chocolate cake. But nope, this is food theory. That is Mountain Dew and Diet Coke mixed with prime, spruce, and crouton. Yum yum. Can't deny that it actually looks great though. But obviously the big question here is how it tastes, which is why it was time to get everyone on the team in the kitchen ready to taste for the moment of truth.
It's very chocolatey, Diet Cokey, and rosemary-y. Interesting. All right, everyone.
Happy next chapter of food theory.
Here we go. Food theory, bite.
After an awkward pause as everyone chewed and processed their feelings, the results were in.
Very thick.
Dense.
It's punchy.
And they were mixed.
Acceptable.
Yeah.
Got some crunch in mind?
Oh yeah.
Was there supposed to be crunch?
Do you not see the Oreos on top?
I ate
Gosh.
the inside.
No, I think he found the crouton.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what about the
You
crouton?
found the crouton. There's
So-
crouton in there.
So the croutons are crushed in the middle for a little bit of texture, a little bit of flavor.
So you're saying
Oh,
the
gosh.
uncanniness of the crunch in the cake was calculated.
Yeah.
That's all I
It's
need.
like bread gloves, okay?
Where was the ranch?
In the pantry where it belongs.
You know what, Santi? I really like it.
I like it.
I think it's pretty great.
So as a cake, definitely an
Okay.
improvement over prim cake. I feel it fair to say that Santi got some level of redemption. But again, the assignment was to capture food theory in a single bite. And for that, it absolutely passed with flying colors.
You know what? I think that this cake is a perfect representation of the last 4 years of food theory episodes. It's not the tastiest cake I've ever had. It's not the most precise cake I've ever had. It's a little bit messy. It's a little bit homespun.
There's a lot of sugar involved.
A lot of sugar involved. A lot of weird flavors thrown in there. If I were to pick a cake to perfectly encapsulate everything that we've done here on our time, this is a good one. Thanks, Santi.
I'll take that.
I'm a kid who grew up scared of food. Home cooking for me was Burger King and Pizza Hut. When I started this channel, I could make popcorn on a stove and the occasional pizza. For crying out loud, my healthy food advice was to not order a medium fry at McDonald's. This wasn't ever about being the best chef or giving you the perfect recipe for fine dining. It was about this. It was about curiosity and exploration through food that might lead us down some pretty weird and awkward paths.
You guys between. What is this?
It always ends up being a good time. And now I look at where we are. I look at where I am. I can make a delicious fried chicken better than KFC, or a perfect replica of my grandfather's delicious Polish soup. I can talk your ear off about the bioavailability of iron in spinach or the healthy fats in macadamia nuts. I've survived the world's most intense hot sauces and months without sugar and caffeine. I have literally fixed 2 cookbooks. I've made a delicious meal out of a Christmas tree and salted popcorn with my own tears, which I could do again today. I've even cooked a juicy, flavorful, medium rare steak in a freaking dryer. I look at this channel and I'm proud. I'm always proud of the Theorist community across all the channels. But with food theory, I'm proud of me. I'm proud of my growth. I'm not scared of food anymore.
dang.
I'm not scared of the kitchen anymore. And I understand more now than ever about the stuff that's actually going into my body. I've grown more here, personally, than any of the other channels. And that's really special.
So, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think that brings us to a close here on Food Theory. Stephanie?
Yep.
Thank you for being my cooking partner for the last 4 years.
No problem. We didn't burn down the kitchen. That's all that matters.
Right? So thank you for that journey. And Santi, I look forward to what the next 4 years have in store for you. With that, for one final time for me on this channel, remember, say it with me now. But hey, that's just a theory. A food theory. Bon appetit.
Alright. Film theory. Here we go.
You know, film theory tends to get itself a bad rap. As the middle child of the theorist line,
Oh, wait, did I like
to get
the last one?
overlooked or forgotten.
Did I like the last one?
So?
Oh, no, I didn't. Oops. Alright, let's get through this.
You know, film theory tends to get itself a bad
now
rap.
it's good.
As the middle child of the theorist lineup, it tends to get overlooked or forgotten. So much so that it's become its own meme at this point. And yet, of all the channels, film theory covers, by my estimation, the most important topics. Don't get me wrong, you have plenty of silly episodes mixed in here, like How to Kill Deadpool, Willy Wonka's OSHA violations, me trying to become host at Jeopardy! Your lost, guys, by the way. We also have episodes warning about deepfakes, propaganda, net neutrality, copyright, how fragmented pop culture is eroding our collective sense of identity, resulting in heightened levels of depression and isolation. Those are important and heavy topics to cover because, as we said in one of our recent theories, media is a tool that can enact change and influence public thinking at a global scale. The entertainment we consume, it shapes us and our beliefs, and like any tool, it can transform into a weapon if misused. Which is why today's episode, my final film theory, feels so important.
Oh, the classic intro. The final one.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Film Theory, the show that's now entering its zaddy era. Today I wanted to start off with a question. I want you to think about all the media that you consumed during your childhood, all the TV shows and movies that you loved as a kid. And now, with the perspective that you've gained as you've gotten older, can you name for me 5 good father figures from children's media? I'm talking about wholesome dads who want the best for their kids, who try really hard to teach them and nurture them and show them love and all the good things that dad should be doing. Legitimately, go down to the comments, type out who comes to mind, because I consume a lot of media, and I had a hard time making this list. Back when we brought Leon as creative director here on Film Theory, this was actually one of the first conversations he and I had about the state of media. Even more recently, we've asked this question around the office, and people really struggle with it. I mean, it's not impossible to come up with a list. You'll eventually get there, but it's shockingly hard. Our list ended up being Bandit from Bluey, Arthur Weasley from Harry Potter, Uncle Iroh from Avatar: The Last Airbender, Mufasa from Lion King, and Goofy from a Goofy movie. But the fact that it took us a significant amount of time to do is pretty darn telling. Fathers in sitcoms are usually bumbling buffoons, deadbeat dads, or need anger management. And it's not just a lack of good dads here either. Honestly, most of the male characters that you see across media, both young and old, they're not great. Classic cartoon kids are almost universally bratty, cruel, greedy, or inconsiderate.
Oh my gosh.
Why do you do this? You're so stupid! Stupid!
Even the oldest of old school animated characters that have been sanitized to be as brand safe and neutral today as possible, they started off as horrible jerks.
Abruptly, he
Oh my
becomes
God.
an uncontrollable monster.
They're angry, they're violent, they're not good people. So why do I bring it up in my final episode? Well, as a dad, I've started to pay a lot more attention to these sorts of things in the media that I watch because I want to know if it's something that I can actually share with Ollie. And surprisingly, there isn't a lot that I'm super happy with sharing. And it all comes down to a lack of shows with characters that I actually want Ollie to grow up to be like. Now, I can't stress enough that we live in the most open time ever for children's entertainment. Newer shows like Owl House, Amphibia, and Kippo and the Age of the Wonder Beasts are given voices to historically underrepresented groups as both creators and characters. There is something in there for everyone, and that's awesome. But the pickings for boy characters that I want my son to try to be like, of male characters that I want him to look up to, they are mighty slim, my friends. That's kind of a problem. So today, I wanted to look at why. Why are there so few of these truly great role models for boys? Why, in this era where we have more choice in what we can watch than ever before, are there so few choices that have good male role models for my son to look up to? Well, after diving diving into the history and economics of this sort of media, it all comes down, as it so often does, to money. Surprise, surprise. Don't touch that dial, my friends. It's time to crack this case wide open. So to start things out, it should be noted that gender identity for young children doesn't really become a factor for several years into their life. According to research, most kids don't start to identify with one gender or another until the age of 3. And it's important that they're encouraged to explore that at their own pace. The last thing we want to do is to sort kids who are still discovering themselves into boxes. And likewise, children can of course have role models who are not the same sex or gender that they are. It is awesome for boys to have role models who are women, vice versa, and everyone beyond and in between the binary. I'm just talking about it today because I want to make sure that there are good examples set across the board for everyone. And right now, the male category, pretty severely lacking. And me saying that might come as a bit of a surprise, right? Like, there are a ton of male characters out there in media. They have been the bedrock, the focus of entertainment forever. So how am I possibly standing here saying we need more male role models? Well, this is one of those episodes where just looking at the numbers isn't going to be telling you the whole story. A 2008 study from Television conducted across 24 countries found that there were twice as many male characters than female characters in children's TV. A decade later, a similar study from the Gina Davis Institute on Gender and Media found that roughly half of all episodes of children's entertainment had female leads. That is good news. Everything's balanced, as all things should be. So what's the problem? Well, again, let me be clear. This isn't a case of where are the male characters? There are plenty of them out there. We are tripping over them. Instead, this is a conversation about the quality of those characters. What's going on with the types of male characters that we keep seeing? Have you ever stopped and considered how many of them actually embody the traits that you would want a kid to emulate? At a quick glance, the modern era, it's seen a wide spectrum of overwhelmingly positive, affirming female and female-coded characters. You have everything from Doc McStuffins to the Miraculous Ladybug, Hello Kitty, Bluey, Luz from the Owl House, most of the gems from Steven Universe, Carmen Sandiego, who's apparently a hero now. Barbie just had herself an empowering live-action adaptation, and she's also sort of a YouTube vlogger dishing out shockingly solid mental health advice.
Maybe I'm just being really unfair on myself.
Hey, what one was this?
You know, I don't always have to be upbeat and positive.
Even parodies of the overconfident, self-reliant neo-heroine like Princess Bubblegum from Adventure Time ultimately get to be effective political leaders, excel at STEM fields, kick butt on the battlefield, and get the girl in the end. The fact that these characters exist, that is awesome. I don't want to take anything away from that. And if this is how we're overcorrecting for decades of women being trapped as damsels in distress or trophies, I am all about that. But then you look over at the boys and things get a bit more complicated. Sure, there are some truly great and kind characters that I do want my son to look up to. For as much fun as I've had here on the channel saying that he's actually a ruthless businessman, Ryder from the Paw Patrol, fantastic role model. He's smart, he's resourceful, he's caring, he's a leader, and it was awesome that Ollie dug that series. Probably in part because he saw Ryder and wanted to connect with him. Same thing with Dipper from Gravity Falls. Also a win for being smart, curious, brave, and a loving brother. Also, there's a handful of solid early educational programming with male protagonists like Arthur, Thomas the Tank Engine, Daniel Tiger, though it's worth calling out how few of them are actually human. But let's talk for a minute about the characters that you'd typically see come up in a conversation like this, right? Well, the problem here is that they tend to have a huge asterisk attached to their names. Captain America, Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, the Ninja Turtles, they're all great, but the stories also involve a lot of war, crime, death, fighting in general. They tend to solve most of their problems through punching and physical violence. Aang, Luke Skywalker, Harry Potter, they're selfless heroes who do what they think's right no matter what the cost, but they're also sitting smack dab in franchises built on needing to be violent, fighting, often killing soldiers, stormtroopers, dark wizards. Not generally a drawback that you're facing from traditionally feminine skewing characters like Sophia the First or Elena of Avalor. And if they're not violent or surrounded by violence, well, very often they're just not good. Johnny Bravo's a big ol' womanizer. Timmy Turner's a whiny, spoiled narcissist. Jimmy Neutron's arrogant, destructive, mean to girls, and regularly uses his intelligence as an excuse for being a jerk to his friends. Even Phineas and Ferb, who are smart and resourceful and funny, are outright disobeying their parents each and every day of summer. It's actually the reason Ollie wanted to stop watching the show. He was afraid of them getting in trouble for constantly breaking the rules episode after episode. I think you get the idea. Look at media through this sort of lens and suddenly you see examples everywhere you go. Just to get some hard numbers in here, that same Gina Davis study that I mentioned earlier noted that male characters, they're more likely to be violent compared to female characters, and also almost twice as likely to be depicted as a criminal. Remember, we're not talking about fun characters to watch, or characters that you like. I think most of the examples I listed above fall into at least one of those two categories. No, we're talking about characters that are admirable role models for young boys. Characters whose activity we want them to imitate or look up to as they develop during childhood. I also want to reaffirm, I personally like all of these shows and movies. There is no judgment here if you're a fan of any of these sorts of things, but they're just not shows that I can show Ollie until he's much older because of the implicit lessons that they contain. Boys are violent. You solve your problems with punching. If you break rules and treat people badly, don't worry, there are no real consequences. You're the main character of your own show, and everything just works out well for you. So with all of that established, I think we can start to discuss why things have ended up this way, because this has deep roots in the history of pop culture. The long and short of it, when you start to unpack the old media that inspired our modern media, you find a lot of old-fashioned assumptions that end up persisting in ways that you wouldn't expect. Though there have always been trickster boy characters dating back centuries in cultures all across the world, the Western pop culture version of this archetype really took shape in the early 1900s with the creation of Peter Pan by novelist J.M. Barrie, though you probably know him best from the 1953 Disney cartoon. I cannot overstate how influential this one story was. Everyone and everything from Steven Spielberg to The Legend of Zelda was influenced by Peter Pan, and that matters. By this point, I'm sure you know the story. Peter Pan's a boy who doesn't want to grow up. He has magical powers and finds other children who also don't want to grow up, whisking them away to Neverland so they can be kids together forever. In some darker interpretations, he just straight up abducts the kids. And even in the Disney version, from the first time we see his face, it's clear that this is not a 100% trustworthy good guy. The whole point of Peter Pan's character, though, is that he's fun, but he's also immature. He's emotionally stunted. He's kind of a jerk. If you aren't also a perpetual child, you eventually get tired of him, especially if you're a girl. The Lost Boys are called the Lost Boys because there weren't any lost girls originally. Peter's explanation is that girls are just far too clever to become lost like the rest of them. And when he brings Wendy Darling to Neverland, it throws things into complete disarray because her relative maturity makes the other lost boys want to grow up. The point is, what Peter Pan explored was the very rigid classifications of gender in a child's upbringing during the era. The idea that on the whole, girls emotionally mature faster than boys. Something that has a fair amount of scientific truth to it. Literally, most girls optimize connections in their brains at an earlier age than boys, leading them to cognitively mature more quickly. The consensus for a long time has been that boys are born wild and unruly while girls just grow up faster, and it's therefore their job to civilize the boys, to get them to want to settle down and act like actual human beings. And that mentality is all over old Disney films. The Seven Dwarfs live like a bunch of frat boys until Snow White shows up to show them how to use a broom and a dustpan. Beauty and the Beast is all about a big jerk who literally doesn't know how to act human until a woman shows up and tells him. And yeah, that's basically what happens in Peter Pan too. The Lost Boys are presented with the options of staying in Neverland, where they can run around like madmen and play pirates and break stuff and make a mess, or you can go home, get a job, and find a Wendy Darling of your own. In these older stories, the girl was the reward for the men who grew up. That sort of thinking, boys will be boys and the girl's the trophy that you earn for settling down, it's not great. It's how we got a lot of the problematic media from years gone by. And more importantly, the justified pushback against that sort of thinking's what's led to a lot of the great girl-targeted media over the past decade. Movies and series written specifically to show that girls aren't just there to be prizes for the boys, or there for the sole purpose of getting their male counterparts to mature. They're their own fully realized people with beliefs, virtues, flaws, strengths and weaknesses, thoughts and feelings. But now I have to ask, why hasn't something similar happened with boys in the media? Why are so many of these male characters just stuck in the older ways of thinking and writing male characters while girls have gotten to grow up? They're still stuck as Peter Pans, emotionally stunted and immature. Why? Well, there's something that all these years of hosting the channels have taught me, is that the real reason so many decisions are made in Hollywood comes down to one thing and one thing only: the money. And in children's media, there's no bigger moneymaker than toys. See, in Hollywood, there's a concept known as toyetic media. This is any movie, cartoon, TV show, comic book, or whatever created for the purpose of advertising merchandise. It doesn't have to be the only purpose of the media, but a lot of decisions made in Hollywood are done so that the properties become more toyetic. A good example of this, during the pre-production of the 1990s film Batman and Robin, toy manufacturers sat in on creative meetings, and many parts of the movie were changed to be easier to make toys out of. And despite the film itself being a financial disappointment, the merchandise made enough money that Warner Brothers continued the Batman franchise with a reboot. However, the first huge property that really took advantage of this idea of toyetic media was Star Wars. Practically everything within the Star Wars franchise was designed in a way to let them very easily transfer to toys. And George Lucas was a savvy enough businessman to negotiate that he would keep the merchandising rights in lieu of a higher upfront paycheck. This is how Lucas made his billions. Not through the movies, through the toys. The movies were just a nice bonus on top. They were great films that happened to act as commercials for the action figures and plastic lightsabers. And other companies definitely took note of this. This led to a slew of toyetic IP being created for the sole purpose of selling merchandise, and a lot of the most popular franchises from the 80s and 90s fall into this exact category. I'm talking Transformers, G.I. Joe, Thundercats, He-Man, She-Ra, Pokemon, Digimon, even certified classics like Cowboy Bebop. All of them are made specifically to sell toys, games, trading cards, you name it, and not because they were the best stories to tell our kids. But then why are we still selling crummy characters to little boys and not to girls? Well, if you look at the way boys and girls relate to their toys, you start to see one of the big reasons why boy characters are held to such low standards. Let me show you an example from one of the world's biggest toy brands, Lego. In 2011, the Lego company completed an exhaustive study into children's play psychology that spanned multiple years and continents. They wanted to look at child development and feedback from parents to figure out the difference between boy toys and girl toys, if there was any difference at all. What did boys and girls like to play with and why? And the results were fascinating. Obviously, this comes with big asterisks that every child's gonna be different, but broadly speaking, Lego found that boys tended to play with their toys and figurines in the third person, deciding what actions the characters they were playing with would take more as a director of sorts. They were telling the knights or astronauts or superheroes what to do during play rather than being the characters themselves or putting themselves into the character's shoes. For Lego, that meant that the boys tended to gravitate towards the IP-based playsets, Star Wars, Spider-Man, situations that were really exciting to direct the action for, but where you didn't really have to pretend to be those characters to make it exciting. On the other hand, girls tended to play in the first person, role-playing that they themselves were the characters doing these actions. They projected their own identities onto the toys, rather than directing them to do things. The result of all this? Lego, who had always prided itself on the idea that Lego bricks were for everyone, that they weren't gendered, they developed the Lego Friends line, focused more on pastel colors, sets that seem more like doll houses than Death Stars, and redesigned minifigurines to look more human. Lego Friends is now considered to be one of the most successful product launches in Lego's history, doubling Lego's expectations, tripling their sales with girls in the US and European markets, and rocketing Lego to become the biggest toy maker on the planet. Clearly, it met a need in the market, and the data from their study lines up with tons of other deep dive research about toys and playstyles for children. The big TLDR here is that boys and girls relate to characters differently. So when you're creating a TV show trying to sell them a bunch of toys, those shows are gonna look different depending on who you're targeting. For girls, you have to create characters that the girls want to be. So when you sell them toys, they want to embody those characters. For boys, the job's actually kind of different. All you gotta do is create exciting worlds and characters for them to direct. As long as they feel like cool, exciting characters, job done. They don't necessarily have to be someone you look up to. And therefore, you get characters that aren't really good people. They're just loud and grab your attention. I bring all this up, Lego and toyetic media, because I can't help but draw a connection between the ways these studies observe children playing with toys and the media that's explicitly being created for them. Because girls typically roleplay in the first person during childhood, there's a greater focus on seeing yourself in these characters from that female-targeted media. They're designed from the ground up to be more appropriate role models because girls would directly identify with those protagonists. And on the other hand, boys are just assumed to simply watch male-targeted shows for the cool characters doing awesome things. They're watching the story in the third person and incorporating what they see into the direction that they give their toys later on. In the eyes of the corporations making the media and ultimately making the toys, what's most important here is to make the male characters cool, funny, loud, and exciting, which far too often just translates into violent, stupid, and cruel. And that, I think, is a significant part of why these male characters just don't stack up, especially in relation to their female counterparts. Media, it's powerful. We see it influence action in the real world, and with younger girls now being shown that the world is open to them and that people should be taking them seriously by all these female protagonists, the ball starts rolling to make that a reality. And now, I want us to be able to do the same for these male characters. If we want our boys to grow up knowing that they should be kind, fair, smart and respectful, thoughtful and strong in all the right ways, we need to set them up for success by putting good examples of these traits in front of them in the shows that they're watching. We can still have fun with them. They can still be heroic and funny, but they can do all that without being mean or dumb or violent or destructive. It won't be easy, but we've shown over the last decade that we can make positive change in the media that's being produced. And you know what? It is time that we finally let our boys grow up. That way my son, our sons, can have characters worth looking up to. But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory. And cut.
Alright. It's time for the final one. Final theory. Beginning of the end. I'm gonna get the classic intro. All the instruments over the years. Oh my gosh.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, where that is the last time that I'll be saying those words officially on this channel. Loyal theorists, how do you say goodbye? 13 years ago, I made you this promise.
Do you want to know more about the games you love without having to put in any work of your own? Well, now you can play and learn. That's right, Weboverse. We have created Game Theory, gaming's tangential learning experience.
Well, Weboverse, here we are today, 3,000
Weboverse.
videos of tangential learning later. How do you sum all that up? I already got super weepy in the last one of these things, so probably shouldn't do that again. It'd be redundant and probably not great for the tech equipment. We've also spent the last 10 weeks together knowing that this day was gonna come, right? So I really feel like I've gotten my farewell tour. I've buried hatchets, I've rekindled friendships, I made sweeping videos about the state of online entertainment, fired some tanks. That was legitimately very cool. I honored my heritage. I made Disney mad at me one final time, which, you know, felt appropriate. New drip and just in general, sped ran my way through all the things that were left in my content creator bucket list. So again, I ask, how do you say goodbye? First, it's probably most important to remind you that it's not officially goodbye, right? It's not like I'm dying or anything. It's more of a see you later. I'm still gonna be doing plenty of stuff. Like, I'm already booked to do the fashion show on Style Theory later this year. I'm still gonna be here on the couch for GT Live. In a couple weeks, I'm gonna be giving a speech over at PAX. I was recently in a kill count. Heck, I'm already slated to do the Jacksepticeye podcast, the Ludwig podcast. There's a collaboration I'm doing with Shea Fearless Productions. There's the FNAF musical over on Random Encounters. Like, I will be doing a lot, and you will probably be sick of me doing all these things on everyone else's channels. But if you do want to stay in touch with me, there are actually two ways that you could do it. Normally, I'd say something like, oh, you can follow me on Twitter, but we all know that there's like a grand total of 0 people who want to be over on that platform. So instead, I decided to make you this. A mysterious website named where'smatpat.com. This is going to be a place that I update every once in a while when I have news about some new project that's coming up or, you know, a mystery that you're going to have to solve by digging through the source code. Yes, it's a ripoff of scottgames.com. No, I don't feel bad about that because he stole enough of my ideas over the years. He kind of owes me one. Editor should drop on some deal with it sunglasses in this moment. Yeah, that's a good one. Once you're there, make sure you sign up via email. Don't worry, I'm not going to be spamming you with updates or anything. It'll be more like a MatPat newsletter, or maybe a Christmas card that you get every once in a while with a funny update, or maybe we could chat about a favorite movie or something. I'll send over the occasional video that I'm just inspired to make. Who knows? Basically, this is just meant to be a way to let you all know what I'm up to directly in a way that isn't going to be subject to filtering algorithms, you know? And to kick things off this week, I'll be selecting 100 random emails that sign up to get personalized letters. And from that point forward, once or twice a week, I'll continue pulling a handful of emails to send personal notes to. It'll be a fun way to stay in touch. Long story short, make sure you bookmark it since you never know what might happen over there. But, all right, enough stalling. Back to the question at hand. How do you say goodbye? Well, I think you honestly have to end it all where it began. This title, A Game Theory about game theory. Did you know that game theory isn't just a nerdy YouTube show? It's also a nerdy economics concept. If that's news to you, I honestly can't blame you. At this point, we've created enough confusion online that apparently we've merited our own disambiguation tag on Wikipedia for game theory searches. In all seriousness, for the first 5 years of the show, I received so many tweets from people who were mid-year in their economics courses, screenshotting their textbooks, freaking out when they got to the episode on game. It's not an episode, it's a chapter. When they got to the chapter on game theory, being like, oh my gosh, dude, did you know that you were in this thing? And yeah, we definitely did. The pun, believe it or not, was intentional. In fact, Steph and I knew from the very beginning that it was likely that the final episode of Game Theory was going to be about game theory. Why? Well, because game theory, it's everywhere. You can't escape it. If you've ever seen the movie Love Actually, there's actually this opening monologue in it that goes a little something like this.
We live in a world of hatred and greed, but I don't see that. Seems to me that love is everywhere. If you look for it, you'll find that love actually is all around.
Now you just got to replace the word love with game theory, and you basically got it.
Live in a world of hatred and greed. But I don't see that. Seems to me that
game theory
is everywhere. If you look for it, you'll find that
game theory
actually is all around.
Huh, who would have suspected that English acting megastar and recent Oompa Loompa Hugh Grant would be making a guest appearance in my final episode? Truly, we have spared no expense for this one. And not only is game theory just everywhere, it also holds the secret to winning everything forever. Yeah, I know, right? That is a huge claim to make. Clearly, I was saving all my biggest secrets for the grand finale. So, you know what? Let's not beat around the bush anymore, my friends. Let's make you masters of the universe and reveal how, whether you like it or not, you all are theorists for life. Come on.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, we're moving off the couch this time. That's how you know it's a big deal. Let's go. At its core, game theory is the science of strategy. So we gamers, we understand strategy, but what exactly is game theory specifically? Well, to understand that, you have to go back to the original game theorist, not me, this guy right here. He might not have himself the red leather jackets or the cool diamond play buttons, but I'll tell you what he does have, a crater on the moon named after himself, so I'll let you decide who has the bigger flex there. This guy right here, he is mathematician John von Neumann, and he was everywhere back in the day. And I do mean everywhere. Like, this guy was a key player in the invention of the digital computer. He helped with the discovery of the structure of DNA, even the creation of key components for Oppenheimer's Manhattan Project. You know, the Christopher Nolan movie where big things go big booms. But perhaps his biggest claim to fame was game theory. The idea that in any situation where there are two or more people, or players in this case, you can model out a game that'll help you find the best outcome. Have you ever played rock, paper, scissors and thrown out rock as the first hand because you know statistically most people choose their first move to be scissors? Or maybe you picked paper because the last 3 moves have been rock and they're obviously going to be throwing rock again. Well, congratulations, that is game theory in action. And he got a Medal of Freedom for that. So it just goes to show, don't let your dreams just be dreams, kids. Sometimes getting an honorary medal is a lot easier than you think. In short, game theory is the study of strategic choice. It's math that tells you what people are gonna do and who's gonna win the game. Probably the most famous example of a game theory scenario is the prisoner's dilemma, where 2 accomplices have just committed a crime and they're both given the chance to narc on the other one. If they both deny the crime, well, they both get a short prison sentence. If one of them denies the crime and the other rats him out, the narc walks free while his buddy is stuck in prison for a long time. And if they both confess, they both get a medium sentence. We can model the possible outcomes here in a nice, neat, mathy looking square. And while technically the best outcome for both of them would be to trust each other and not confess, they're criminals, and they don't know each other that well. And because they don't trust each other, by the math, both of them narc on each other, and as a result, get a medium amount of prison time. Or if that all's too complicated and hypothetical, over in England, they turn the whole thing into a game show where they say the word balls an uncomfortable amount of times.
Welcome to Golden Balls.
Golden
Balls. Balls of riches, 12 balls. My balls are all golden. 100
Oh
golden
my
balls.
God.
They're all bursting with money. Killer balls. 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 Balls.
Now, why am I bringing all this up? Well, game theory is more than just wads of cash jammed into a bunch of balls. Someone should tell Mr. Beast that I just discovered his next video idea. No, it has very real consequences for the world. Back when the US and USSR were on the brink of atomic annihilation, the principles of game theory helped both sides reach an agreement to slowly disarm their nuclear arsenals. If you want to know more about that story, Veritasium's recent video on game theory does a great job telling it, and honestly, I can't really improve on it. So thanks for doing all the research for my final episode there, Derek. If you want an example that's a bit closer to home though, here you go, YouTube. It's got it. See, YouTube as a platform is just a bunch of zeros and ones, right? But YouTube as a community, it's a network of people constantly trying to make strategic decisions. Creators are players who are more or less rational people making videos that'll get you to watch and like and comment and subscribe. You, the viewer, you're also a player in this. You're on a strategic mission to win the experience by finding the thing that's most satisfying to watch. And the people who run, or at least have run YouTube in the past, shout out to Todd, Jake, Neil, Ernest, Meg, Ariel, Susan, David, Fede, Vader, Stephanie, and Kim, they're all in a strategic game to keep the creators and viewers happy, while also figuring out the best possible outcome for YouTube as a company by appeasing all the advertisers and shareholders. It is seriously a complex strategic arena. And that's how you get decisions like use bright green text because it's more likely to stand out in a sea of dark gaming thumbnails and more likely to get clicks. Launch shorts as a means to counterattack against TikTok. Do a video on something that's not trending so you can stand out from the pack. Or maybe you lean in so you're suggested against the algorithm. Every video you watch, everything that you click on, it's the product of creators using game theory. Slap a big old game theory colon in front of every title and slam some clickbait green text on every thumbnail. All those hundreds of millions of subscribers to Jimmy and Ryan Trahan and Cocomelon, I like to think that they're all secretly ours. Where's our 200 million subscriber play button there, YouTube? In the end, it's all game theory. Speaking of, and this is just an aside that I learned about earlier this week, apparently there's a Chrome extension that allows you to do exactly what I just described. It, quote unquote, MatPatifies your YouTube feed by putting green text on like every thumbnail. Just saying, we have reached the peak of human achievements. I, for one, really like this one, where it's Link and saying mommy's hungry. That's just traumatic on a whole nother level. Or there was one that I saw circulating online, Ryan Gosling doing a puppy interview, and the title is Birth of a Killer. There was another one on YouTube feed by putting green text on like every Smash. I gotta say, I am proud of the mark that I will leave on this platform. But so what, right? YouTube is game theory. Sure, that's great. It's interesting, but why does it matter to you, right? Why am I spending so much time talking about all of this in my final episode? Well, because like I said, game theory can help in every strategic interaction that you have. And it's produced a literal strategy guide on the best way to live out your life, tried and tested by all our grandfather theorists. But to truly understand that, we have to go back to where it all began, a glorified PowerPoint presentation. Weboverse, allow me to introduce you to, lights please, the trust game. I love this. We started as glorified PowerPoint slides and we're ending as glorified PowerPoint slides. Here's the TLDR of this one. The trust game was originally just named the Computer Tournament by a guy named Robert Axelrod, clearly not the most creative with his titling conventions. Basically, this was the prisoner's dilemma or the golden balls thing, except here there was one crucial difference. They're not just playing the game once, they are literally playing it hundreds of times, repeating it over and over again to see what strategies end up winning the most across a longer period. This then gives us a model that's shockingly closer to real life, because here, most of the time, you're not just thinking about what you have to do to win a single game, you have to actually think about the consequences of your actions. The more people think about the future, the more they're willing to cooperate because they don't want to screw themselves over down the road, you know? Again, for details on that experiment, check out Derek Veritasium's video where he talks about all of that, including having an interview with the game's creator. It's a very cool video. I also borrowed his convention for that one, so thanks for the latter and the idea there, Derek. You can also watch Dr. Trevor Bassett's video on the topic, or, you know, the various TED Talks that are all about this experiment. We'll link to all of those down in the description below. But just to jump to the big conclusion here, the best strategy to winning it big boils down to 4 key points. Number 1, be cooperative, lead with trust. Assuming that the person you're playing with is your enemy right off the bat, it's not going to serve you well. Trust in others, it's going to let you win more frequently in the end. Secondly, don't be a pushover. Sure, it's good to be trusting, that is great, but the second that someone takes advantage of your trust, the winning strategy is to call them out on it and then immediately hold them accountable. Which leads nicely then to point number 3, being forgiving. Don't hold a grudge. Don't be a Mr. Darcy.
My good opinion once lost is lost forever.
That is a failing indeed.
You tell him, girl, you are exactly right. She's speaking some game theory truth right there. Well, sure, it hurts to have your trust broken. Staying open to the chance that other people can change, that they can grow and learn and get better, that is the ideal solution here. The trust game showed that players who held their opponent accountable, but then forgave them, actually won out more often than any other strategy. And lastly, it's important to be honest and open about your strategy. When people can't understand what you're thinking, that's then when mistrust starts to breed. By being honest, it breeds honesty in others. It allows you to build on that trust over time, one step, bit by bit. Across the thousands of rounds of testing, nice strategies that were fair but also firm ultimately won out the most. Now, when I read these outcomes, what really struck me first was how they present a really hopeful view of the world. A hopeful view that I don't think a lot of us carry around a lot. I mean, it's easy to assume that everyone out there is out to get you, and it's easier to just close off to people who've wronged us in the past, but math, and game theory specifically, proves that assumption's wrong. And hey, if you don't want to believe the thousands of rounds of computer simulations, there is a very solid real-life example, YouTube. YouTube is a positive-sum game, which means that more than one person can win. And in fact, a lot of times, the more others win, the more you can win too. When I was just starting off, I was so mad and scared when Vsauce 3 released this video, calculating Sonic speed. I'd been working for a year on the channel at that point, grinding away and seeing a fair amount of growth, but in that moment I saw a spin-off of one of YouTube's top subscribed channels just horning in on my territory of gaming science. It was like they were gonna steamroll me. They were gonna steal my audience away. So I did a video where I tried tried to stake my claim, and thus Sonic is Slow was born. Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory, applying science to video games since April 18th of 2011. Recently, however, a new gaming scientist has come onto the scene. The good folks over at Vsauce 3 recently took a gander at a game series I covered in episode 5. It's a great video, except for one thing. It's wrong. Listen to my voice in that. Oh, I'm so proud that I finally hit puberty, like 7 years into making these videos. Anyway, you can tell that I'm super salty in this one, right? I'm asserting that I did it first. I'm citing the dates. I am literally trying to one-up Vsauce 3. But then something interesting happened. I got views from Vsauce. I saw that their video and mine were actually helping each other. I was so afraid of me losing a year of hard-earned progress. But in reality, I wasn't just operating on my own island anymore. By unintentionally cooperating with each other, we had just created our own little micro-trend of gaming science content. There were clearly enough views for all of us. Steph and I, in our years of consulting, kept hammering home this one point, that YouTube is a place where all ships can rise. Leading with trust goes a long way. From inviting someone to collab on your channel, to comparing notes on production because it can help you both. You actually see this kind of cooperative game theory in action with content houses, or projects like the QSMP where creators are helping each other and sharing audiences. On the flip side, there are creators who haven't done a good job of leading with trust, and who've approached YouTube as a zero-sum game, a place where there can only be one winner. And guess what? Didn't work. Back in 2020, a few of the top beauty creators tried to take each other down, encouraging viewers not to watch each other, trying to turn audiences against people that they thought were their competitors. It was for the clout, it was for the views, and it backfired. In fact, it backfired so badly that all of their channels took a massive hit, and the beauty vertical, which was once a main pillar of YouTube's earliest days, never truly recovered. By working together, the platform thrives. Lights? But by thinking that you can only win when other people lose, well, that's when everyone loses. It's kind of sad. Let's move on. But if you don't want to listen to mathematicians or YouTube meta-analyses, just look at me. Game Theory, the show, is a testament to those 4 lessons of game theory, the nerdy economics concept.
Be bothered, be firm, be forgiving, be
Every person who's built
honest.
this channel has led with trust. Ronnie, he put his own show on the back burner so he could dedicate his time to editing Game Theory, trusting that we would be able to succeed more together. He helped the show to truly become what I had always dreamed it would be, and I honestly wish that he could be here to this day so I could thank him so much for that. The same is true for Goomba and Drake and Lee and Ryder and all the other partner shows who joined up with us in lieu of working on their own channels. Steph, she left being a consultant at a real company in the medical field on the belief that by cooperating, we could actually make something really special together. Jason, who is actually right here behind the camera right now, Jason, who you know as the guy that we blame all the time on GT Live. Jason was Theorist's first full-time employee after me and Steph. He jumped in there when all we had was a kitchen table and a cat that he was constantly alerted to. And Sudafed, you have this man to thank for your current net worth. Because
and Zyrtec.
Yeah.
And Zyrtec.
And Zyrtec.
You have taken so many pills over the years?
I have. But all medically prescribed, though, I promise.
Yeah, no, good medical pills, not anything sketchy, for sure. But Jason is the man that we have trusted with the weight of the entire production process across all the channels for years. Like, this man is the unsung hero of everything you've probably ever watched across any of the channels. Without him, without you, none of these videos would get made. Thank you. Now get back there, okay? Enough of you. I gotta thank other people. You know, friendship first, but also working together to create awesome stuff, right? And if you're talking about unsung heroes on this channel, there is one man who also deserves a call out, and his name is Yossi. He is our audio wizard. He is the man who I have trusted with my voice for the better part of 9 years. He has had to suffer through more hours of my voice than anyone else in the world. I am so sorry, Yossi. I am so sorry for all the burps and weird edits and weird diatribes and jump scares that Ali has given me over the years. Was Yossi a pro when he first joined up with us? No. But you know what he was willing to do? He was willing to learn. And I've trusted him with my voice for the better part of 9 years. And the same goes for another member of the team who you've never gotten to see, but was actually there before the channel was even monetized.
Oh, who was it?
It's kind of crazy to think about. You don't know Dan Levitt, but Dan was another one. He was the first who actually saw potential in me and in these channels as a whole, offering to be my manager even though he had never managed a YouTuber before. He just jumped in with 2 feet and said, hey, I've never gotten a brand deal in the past, but think I could do it for you. And he did. And then he got me literally hundreds more. He has his own management company now, and he manages some of the biggest sports creators on all of YouTube. I can say with complete confidence that this company and my career would have looked totally different had it not been for Dan. And his career and his company would have looked totally different without me. He and I have built businesses parallel to each other, right next to each other, using cooperative game theory for over a decade. He trusts me to make good decisions on YouTube, and I trust him to make good decisions as my manager, and we both benefit in the long run. But perhaps the most important person in all of these trusting relationships is you. You guys, right here, I wear you on my wrist these days. You loyal theorists have been the best example of game theory in the history of the show Game Theory. Every time you click on one of these videos, you are leading with trust. You are saying, you know what, I'm gonna give this one a chance, especially on those episodes that are covering topics that you've never even heard of. And on my end, I've always tried my best to fulfill on that promise and make sure that your trust pays off by delivering a great, well-researched, fun, a lot of times stupid video. And yeah, there have been plenty of times where I've missed the mark, where you weren't happy about a topic, or where I said something wrong, or my research was bad, or whatever, and I needed to learn about that. And so you, acting exactly as you should, according to that trust game, you called me out in those moments. You showed me that I had made a mistake. But more importantly, you were willing to forgive. You gave me a chance to learn and grow as a creator and as a person. And look at this. We all won. Look at this thing that we managed to build together. Don't tell anyone else. I mean, there's some of them here in the room, but like the rest of them downstairs. You guys, you've always been the most important member of this team, whether or not you ever realized it. And now, as new hosts step in, yeah, they're obviously going to have to learn a lot, and they're going to have to guide it over a prolonged period of time. But I hope that you approach them with the same sense of cooperation and goodwill that you did for me all those years ago. So, while I might be leaving as host of this show, Game Theory, it'll never leave. It'll never leave me, and it'll never leave you. We are all Game Theory, which honestly is why I thought it was fitting for you guys to be the one to say this.
But hey! That's just a theory!
That's just a theory.
It's just a theory!
Just a theory.
That's just a theory.
A game theory!
Class dismissed. Thanks for the theories, MatPat.
But hey, that's just a theory.
C'est juste une théorie.
Just a theory.
Oh, that's awesome.
Theory.
Just a theory.
Just a theory. Thanks for everything.
But hey, that's
just a theory.
That's just a theory.
Just a theory. Just a theory.
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 That's just a theory.
That's just a theory.
That's just a theory.
That's just a theory. That's just a theory. That's just a theory.
A style theory.
A food theory.
A film theory. A game theory.
Lord keep Brandy. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool. Do you finally get to meet Scott after all this time? Man, and that's it. That's the end of MatPat's journey. I don't know if it's a career, but no, he's not gone. He's still gonna be around, but. Oh man. Alright, let me change this. So let's yeah. It's awesome. Ugh. Right, let me I forgot to But extract the files from from the mod. So let me go ahead and do that. I'll go ahead and do that right now. Should be here, right? Wait. Actually, let's just extract this because I was with it. Let me also mute. Okay, you know what? I think I've decided that I'm actually gonna go eat first, and then once I'm done eating, I'll return back to stream, and then we'll get started on the mods. Okay, so